and you know this from like your penis days of your unique
you remember
your ornament.
Days. Before I met you, your penis days.
Your penis days. The ornament.
You can't make me laugh that hard. I have this cough. I love how she wants me not to curse, and she goes from your penis days.
Welcome back to the Riley Black Project, Crystal and John, and
wait,
the cough.
Oh, I was like, don't.
No, I'm not gonna introduce it. There it is. It's back. For all those who missed the cough, it's back.
Yeah, it's here.
Yeah. So, I will probably be doing most of the talking.
Mm-hmm.
She might be texting me questions for our guests.
Listen, I don't shut up very easily, especially when it comes to the podcast. But I might be forced to.
Yeah. You got your tea.
I got my tea.
It's not
helping. Cough drops not helping. Water's not helping. But I guess it's better than nothing. But it's literally seconds of relief, not even like minutes.
We got fancy new microphone arms.
Yeah,
I'm liking them.
I do too. Although it kind of makes it difficult with the drink situation because I gotta.
Well, only
it's very
nice because you have this cough.
Yeah,
you wouldn't have that drink.
That's true. I could have it over here.
So
before we
today, I will read
our guest,
our illustrious Patreon members. Remember, you can be added to this list. Just sign up for Patreon and join that group, that tier, which is this a $12 tier to get the shout out.
6 and up,
huh?
6 and up. So the $4 tier, you just get early.
Oh, right.
And 6 and up, you get
you too can be added to this list. But we have Brandy, Victor, Katie, Melissa, Camille, Lisa, David, Alexander, Stephanie, Madison, Danny, Emily, Amanda, Mark, Kathy, Ryan, and Will. Thank you all for your supports. We had Ryan on last week.
We did.
Will's doing his live. Will's actually doing a live right now.
Yeah.
Well, now when we're recording.
Right.
But like a few days ago for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your eyebrows twitching.
My eyebrows?
You don't feel that?
I don't feel it twitching. I usually do.
It's literally, yeah. And I see it like
I usually feel it.
Coding over there. Sorry.
Okay.
Distracting. Okay. Anyway,
I didn't ask.
Oh, we failed.
The company name.
We did. So
because
just introduce her by first name.
Right.
And she can tell us.
And it's great that you're wearing that shirt because I met her in person at the conference.
I was going through my stack of shirts that I have not folded and put away. And I was like, what am I going to wear today? And I saw this one. I was like, oh, yeah, definitely that one because this is where we met her in person.
Right. And her is Barbie. Hey, Barbie, how's it going?
Hey.
Hi, you guys.
I'm sorry I didn't ask for your company name, but feel free to plug it now.
My company name is The Craft Room.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Because, I wanted something simple and to the point.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, it's good.
Hi. I was going to ask something and the cough snuck in. So
and we did meet at the Next Level Laser Conference.
Yes.
So but I was a huge fan before that. I was so excited to see everyone in person, right? Weren't we so excited to see people
totally
in real life?
Yeah. It's so crazy because we build these relationships where, some people we talk to on a regular, daily basis or, if not weekly, or we're always talking to them within the comments and groups and stuff. And you almost forget that you haven't met them in person.
Right.
Because you talk to them so much. Even some of the conversations, they go into personal things oh, this is what I'm going through, or this is what they're going through. And then you talk about just life, because life tends to come in and mess up business sometimes or make it interesting. And so then you just become this family, and then you're oh, wait,
We haven't met.
I haven't even met you in person. So it was crazy meeting some people in person, and then like to like, you know, depending on what profile picture they have, it's like, oh, I know you right away.
Right.
Or if you have a profile picture of your car or your dog,
right.
I don't know who you are that I've been talking to for several months or whatever. But that's what I love the most about the conferences, is meeting people that you know and recognize from the groups in person, because it's different. It's obviously it's a different kind of like, you know, bond. It's a different conversation when you aren't having to like type back and forth.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Even
plus we're usually like individual working, like we're usually like in our little shop and we're working, and so we build these relationships from in the confines of our like little space, and what we're sort of reaching out and making friends. And then when you go to a conference, number one, remember, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm coming alone. So, like, where is everyone? Because I need to get a drink right away, because I was so scared of like even being out in public.
Yeah. And I was like, and so many of us, like, I think it's just creative people in general, and just kind of like the world now, I'm pretty sure all of us have some level or form of anxiety, but coming alone is something I absolutely hate doing. So I remember when you were messaging me, I was like, I understand, like you'll have plenty of people to kind of like, you won't be alone. You know what I mean?
Right.
To the first phone, and I was never really like alone until I went to my room. And so it was nice, because it was like, you know, I never felt alone, even though I had gone alone, because there's just so many people to talk to. You could literally jump from like 20 different conversations, because there was all these like groups of people just talking and commiserating, and you could go, you know, over here, this one over there with 2 or 3 people, this one over there with 20, you know, the the crowd that tended to follow like Mark and Will, you know, they like, you knew where they were because there was like 5 people around them at all time. So
and then there was Apollo. And so I was like totally like into Apollo, because I'm like, oh my gosh, this dog is so adorable.
We all were. He was totally one of the stars of the show. You grabbed it? He has his photo still from.
Is it his baseball card?
Yeah.
I have it too. It's like right behind me. Yes. Oh my
I remember Heather, I guess, didn't know that like he was handing those out, and she saw someone else like post it after the fact, and she was so mad that she didn't get one because she was obsessed with him too. I think he ended up like mailing her one or something, but
he's like my spirit animal. He's here. He's helping me relax every day. I'm like, he can do it no matter where he is, because Apollo is like the wonder dog.
I loved how one day there was like one evening where he was without Apollo, and everyone's like, dude, where's Apollo? And he was like, he's tired. He literally worked all day.
And I was
like, oh, it's like, oh, he's like us. Like, I'm all
you're allowed to be out without him? Come on. It's a thing. You're a duo. You're like a duo hero, you know?
Right. We're all disappointed that you're alone. Like,
it was great to see him. Like,
I mean, you're cool, Justin, but where's the dog?
it was crazy to see him like in the classes, like just laying, chilling. On the floor,
it was
like,
awesome.
Yeah. He was a great dog. Is a great dog.
I think I was like, I want a dog now to like come, but I just want like a stuffed animal though, because I don't want to like take it potty or anything.
Yeah, listen. So the dog we just got, she was literally like a perfect angel.
We talked her up and jinxed it.
3 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, she's still pretty good.
She's still pretty good, but she definitely has some flaws about her. She's not as perfect as she's
a 2-year-old.
She claimed to be in the beginning.
She's a 2-year-old. She barked for the first time last night.
Was it last night? We have to tell JR.
Yeah, she barked for the first time.
Yeah, and this is coming.
Oh my gosh, you're so lucky.
Well, and this is coming from our previous dog who barked at everything. Yeah, like literally everything.
She would do this like And we were like, is that her bark?
Right.
Because that's like the only thing. Like we like, do you want to go
Only
outside?
noise.
She's like a heavy breathing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
But last night, I was like, what do you want? You want to go outside or something? And she's like, "Rawr," and it was a lot higher. It was a lot higher pitch than I thought.
Well, because she's like
she's an English bulldog. She's sturdy. She's I thought I was gonna have a little more to it, but it was like a high pitch, like I'm like, that came out of you.
Don't make me
We
laugh.
have four dogs.
Oh,
we have an Anatolian.
What was that? Four dogs?
We have 4 dogs. So we have 3 pugs, a boy and 2 girls, and then we have a big dog. She's an Anatolian something mix, and they're all loud. They're like if people pull into if people just drive by our house, they let me know every time a car drives by, anytime, just if a leaf falls from a tree.
Yeah,
they're on it, man. They're on it. They're loud.
She is loud when she's sleeping.
Yeah, she's loud.
I tell him all the time he has to turn up the music so that
you have 3 pugs, so you know.
Pugs, you can hear them. You can hear them breathing from another whole room, and you can tell. I can tell which one who's breathing. They all have a different like tempo of like snoring.
Yeah,
crazy. But I love them. Like they're my life.
For sure. We love her too. We were in love with her before we even got her.
Yeah.
So it's all we were already mad when we got her about like that day. Whenever it comes, we're like,
oh right,
we're
English bulldog,
signing up for the heartbreak, right?
It's like
a little bit more like has more health problems and
So yeah.
Hey there, podcast listeners. How great would it feel if this was the year you finally got to escape your 9-to-5 to embrace your lifestyle of creativity and entrepreneurship?
Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, Eon Laser USA invites you to join the Freedom to Create webinar, where you'll learn how to make this a reality.
Join leading laser industry professional and brand ambassador Emily, aka That Mom with a Laser, and Eon Laser USA's sales manager Alicia as they dive into all things Eon.
Learn about the advantages of owning an Eon Laser and get the scoop on Eon's rewards and partner benefits. Plus, get a glimpse at how everyday people who started out with zero experience paid off their lasers, scaled their businesses, and transformed their lifestyles.
So if you're ready for a lifestyle change, head over to eonlaser.us/whyus and sign up for the Freedom to Create webinar today.
Thanks for listening. Laser on.
Welcome to the revolution in laser engraving. Introducing Lens Digital, the creators of the game-changing Pyburn rotary attachment. With the Pyburn 4.0, you can turn ordinary cups, tumblers, glasses, and more into extraordinary masterpieces.
Looking to engrave niche items or want the functionality of a Chuck rotary? Look no further than the Pyburn Grip, Lens Digital's Chuck-style rotary. With a range of different sized jaws, you can easily engrave a wide variety of items. All Lens Digital products are compatible with most CO2 and Galvo lasers and were designed specifically for the laser industry. All that paired with the best-in-class customer support, Lens Digital is your one-stop shop for all of your rotary needs.
Transform your laser engraving game with Lens Digital, where makers succeed. Unleash your creativity today.
And don't forget, we are proud Lens Digital affiliates as well. If you're shopping, code Riley Black will take $50 off any order of $600 or more. So tell us how you got into the laser industry. Like, what were you doing before? Is this something, did you always want to own your business? Was this just like I guess I'm owning my own business kind of thing? Like, how did the craft room come about?
So before, I've always had different businesses, but before the craft room existed, I had a silhouette and I ran a business called That Darn Pig.
Oh, hey, look. So my G, it says oink.
See?
And I have a little pig on it.
Yeah.
Everyone loves pigs.
Well, we have one.
We have a pig. Did you know that?
What?
Piggy Smalls, the notorious PIG.
Mm-hmm.
Where?
She's out back.
Are you for real?
For real.
For real.
I'll send you a picture.
I need pictures.
Yeah.
So we had pigs. We had pigs too. We raised all those designer pigs that people were buying.
Mm-hmm. We bought one of those.
Yeah, Juliana.
Yeah. And then I just felt like I was living a lie by selling people these little tiny pigs because they get big no matter what you do.
Right.
So
yeah.
So we sold.
So
Big
I
in
think
relation.
they got big in relation to what like people would claim or people would think.
Right.
So like even her, we bought her from a lady who at the time claimed like English bulldog size.
Which she's like a really big English bulldog.
Right.
But she's also a
she
runt.
was the runt. And so she's not typical.
Right.
She's big, but she's not typical for the size
Right.
of
because our
the
neighbor,
mini pigs that they were selling.
Because she's 8 years old. 8, 7, 8? 8 years old. Our neighbor has a pig and he's only 2 years old. And he's way bigger than Piggy is.
Well, it totally goes by what you feed them too. Like the pigs convince you to feed them more. They look at you, they give you like sad eyes, or they just make a lot of noise until you give them like one more scoop. Yeah. Okay, one more scoop. Okay, you can have one more scoop. Or they just talk you into feeding them more. I mean, I had tons of them and I love them, and I fed them Cheerios in the living room, and
they love Cheerios. Cheerios is like candy.
Oh, it is.
Pigs, yeah.
And so when I started my business, I was trying to think of like a name for my business back then. So I named it That Darn Pig.
Yeah.
That's another story. Pig got out. I had to call 911 because we were all searching the neighborhood for our pig. And it was just like a funny thing. So I figured you got to name it something catchy for your business. So I did the whole silhouette. I did the sign parties. And, but, my anxiety, I was great during the parties. I would put on my smile and I'd help everyone make everything. Right. But the days leading up to that party were like insanity.
Yep.
And as you know, I don't always say cursey words, and there was always an F-bomb before the party. And so I eventually realized that I hated it. I hated the prep work. It wasn't the prep work. It was the anticipation of being around people.
Right. Yep.
Even though I love people, I do.
Same.
I love people. It's just the public anxiety or the social anxiety leading up to it. So I had to
the anxiety of me leading up to every conference. Yeah. It's insane. Or shut up. Yes, anything. But especially for bigger things where I'm going to have to present or be any part of the center of attention.
It's almost
my anxiety.
You can't even function.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a struggle for sure. And then after during, I can turn it on.
Yeah.
And again, at the conference, the first aha moment I got, I was like, oh, okay, I'm fine now.
Then I was free.
Yeah. And then he could leave because he's you talk about Apollo. He's my Apollo.
I sit on the floor.
So he just he literally did. He sat on the floor I'm like, you can't leave until I'm good. And I was like, I don't know how long it's gonna take me to be I'm good. And then I got that moment, and I was like, oh, okay. And I would get anxious before each class, but then it would kind of go down. And then as the class was over, I was like, oh, okay, I survived that. That was great. That was awesome. But then it was also I'm fucking exhausted because
because of all the build up. Yes, and it's so funny because we are really nice people. We're sweet. We're kind. And when we're on the ball, when we're with people, we're super caring with people. I just did an event. And I just love interacting with people. I love showing them the personalized items and building those relationships.
Yeah.
It's just the time before where I'm just totally I just can't even function. I can barely get anything done before the event. And as the time creeps on, it's just this overwhelming. And then when we're there, we're so just I love this. This is so great. And then as soon as it's over, I'm like, I just want to go in my room. And it's hard because when you're running a business, I'm out in my studio working. So I try to get done by like 3:00 when the kids come home. That's my cutoff. If I don't have to pick them up, then I know they're rolling in about 3:30, and I like to act like I'm just sitting on the couch waiting for them. Like when they get home, like even though I just like it and like ran in the house and like washed my hands, and I'm like, oh guys, and then I try to give them all the attention. But when you're getting ready for an event, I'm working, so I'm putting them off. And then I'm getting everything ready. Then I'm totally agitated and I need help with price tags and come over here and help me with the price tag. We have to price all this stuff. Yes, patience. I know it's like 2 hours before everyone has to go to bed, but forget all your homework. We got to price this stuff.
Right. We got to move.
I didn't do it all week. I know that. I totally waited till the last moment. Let's not talk about that. We got to get it done. Exactly. And then I do the event. I'm gone at the event. Then I come home and I don't want to talk to anybody. So now it's like what? Today's Tuesday.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I gotta get back to like mom life because I've totally been like out of it.
Well, and then I tricked you into doing the podcast. Yes. I've been asking her to do the podcast, and she had that 10K month, which we'll talk about at some point. And she would kind of like dodge me without dodging me. And I'm like, just waiting on you. And then she posted the other day, and it was a really good post. Like, I kind of want to pull it up because
that was like my midnight thought process. And I will tell you that I wrote it in my language and then I put it into Chat GTP to like make it sound better. And then it corrected like Crazy Laser Dad as like Laser Dad or something. And I'm like, no, it's got to say, I wanted to like point out different people without pointing out different people,
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to read it real quick because it was just really good. So
attention all laser owners and crafters. Are you tired of spending hours cutting, painting, and assembling laser products? Look no further than Crazy Laser Dad Laser Ready Blanks.
Their high quality blanks are expertly sourced, tested, and ready to use with your lasers. Say goodbye to the hassle and frustration of time-consuming projects and hello to more time creating and selling.
Plus, with their wide selection of items, you'll surely find the perfect blank for all your customers.
So, what are you waiting for? Visit crazylaserdad.com today and take your laser crafting to the next level with their laser-ready blanks.
Speaking of all things laser, check out Houston Acrylic at houstonacrylic.com for reliable laser tested and laser approved materials.
Made for makers by makers, Houston Acrylic features over 450 styles of acrylic sheets. With over 50 new arrivals being released this month, Houston Acrylic is committed to bringing new and innovative styles to the laser community. My personal favorite is the matte. Anything matte. And I feel it's perfect for everything.
Don't forget to save 10% by using our exclusive coupon code TRBP10 at checkout. Get inspired today and visit houstonacrylic.com.
Do it.
So my laser journey goes like this. A designer creates an adorable file. Take my money. A laser mom shares a fantastic new idea. Can the pass-through really do that? A crazy laser dad recommends supplies I can't live without. Wait, I just engrave a name on that? A podcaster shares their laser journey. That happened to me too. A newbie asks a question I know the answer to. Stand back. I've got this. An oldie gets another laser. What are you going to make with that one? A laser company announces a free laser giveaway. Say my name, say my name. Another designer offers their files for free. Clicking download. An expert posts a video on photo engraving. Did you say 50 Shades of Grey? A magazine features a success story. Maybe it'll be me next time. I get invited to another laser group. What's happening over here? A company offers sparkling acrylic and wood in chartreuse. If you want chickens, there's a company with that pattern plot. So I keep cutting, engraving, painting, and my dreams keep growing. Thank you, Emily Caroline, for exposing me to a whole new world. So it was really good. Yeah. Like it's legit pretty much everybody's laser journey. Like we've all done each one of these things. And then in the comments, I commented and I was like, well, that podcast is still waiting for you to be a podcast.
Perfect timing because I think it was the night of the event. I'm coming down from like my high. I went out, I had so on either side of me was wine vendors. And I felt obligated to buy
support
we spent the whole day together. I was like, okay, the event ends at 7. I'm gonna drink at 6, So I bought a glass of wine from that one. Then I bought a glass of wine from that one, and then it was game over. I was just so
if
happy.
You buy a glass from the left. You got to buy a glass.
Right. You got to support them.
I mean, you got to, you don't want to show favoritism.
Right.
And there's one across the hall. You got to go buy from them. And
believe me, 2 glasses of wine. And my daughter was like, Mom, are you sure you're okay? Should you be doing that? That's how much we drink around our kids. And It's so funny because, I have an 11-year-old and a 17-year-old. And then I have 25, 28, and 30. And God, I love you boys. If you're listening, I got your ages wrong. You'll always be young in my heart and my mind. You'll always be 4, 7, and 12 or something.
Right.
Yeah. Now the boys come over, we all drink, but the little ones never aren't exposed to Mom in my happy, woohoo!
Right. Yeah.
And I even did the electric. I think is that song? No, it's not the electric slide. That totally shows my age. The one that's to the left, to the left, to the left.
Cupid Shuffle.
Yeah. Okay, so I did that.
Newish electric slide.
Exactly.
Yeah, I did that for 5 seconds with my 11-year-old until I realized that I was so winded. I couldn't remember what way to shuffle.
Wait,
and I'm in front of a lot of people. And then that started to get to me. People are watching me. And hey, my daughter's super cute. You guys should totally watch her. I'm going to go
stand
over here now and just shuffle around and act like I'm okay. But
we danced in Mexico to one of the, I don't know what song it was, but we danced to some Spanish song. And most of the way through, it's we used to do that all the time
and all night.
Right. And one song, and I'm
my hamstrings started burning halfway through.
Song done yet? Because I was so tired, but I had to wait until the end of the song.
Yeah, you can't leave the dance floor.
It just goes. It's 1 minute you're on your alcohol high and you can hit you think you're hitting every step and you don't care. And then it's bam, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then now I'm so tired, I have to walk off the stage. How long do I have to fake this until I go sit down because I'm old now.
This song's a lot longer than I remember.
Right? Yeah.
I love that song. Who is it? When I'm nervous, I forget names. Come on.
Me too.
Miley Cyrus's new song.
Oh, yeah.
Young. And oh my gosh, it just breaks me every time I hear it. I'm I was so wild.
Yeah. I don't know that I was wild, but I'm definitely a lot less wild. Very, very mild now compared to old me, for sure.
Oh, I'm so conservative now, I think, compared to my old me. I mean, I did 12 years at Catholic school, and I would say that I was a complete rebel.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't back in the day, I wasn't I don't know. I had the twinkle in my eye of mischief.
Right. Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the mischief. And now I'm hey, can you guys do a podcast without saying bad words?
She was the one.
Yeah, I know.
It was so good. Well, and I did that one with Tabitha's daughter, and I'm here you go, Barbie.
I know. And I have not listened to that one.
You got to listen to it around your daughter.
It's the whole principle. It's the principle of the whole thing. Yeah. I feel the last few months, we'll get back to my business. So,
right. Yeah.
Okay. So I did the silhouette thing. Yeah. And then this really crazy thing happened. I actually wanted an Oculus. Do you guys know what those are?
Yes.
It's the game that you put on. And I think it was $399 and it was coming to be my birthday. And I figured no one in the family, my husband wouldn't say no because it was kind of it was a birthday gift, but it was a family gift. So when he said yes to the Oculus for $399, I kind of knew in the back of my mind that if I found anything else, $399 was totally okay now, So then I started looking at I don't know, CNCs, because I thought, hey, I think I want to make stuff. So, I'm going to get a CNC. So I started looking at CNCs. And then, of course, if you're looking at CNCs, you'll find YouTube videos, and they always throw a laser into the mix.
Yep.
So then I thought, okay, I'm going to find a $399 laser. And so then I started watching stuff and learned that that's like so not the way to go.
Right.
And I just didn't know exactly like how to approach that to my husband, because $399 was sort of the limit of his comfortableness. And I think I had a breakdown on the way into Home Depot. I decided, because that's how us wives do, we just have a random breakdown where we start. I don't know. I started stuff right before we walked into Home Depot.
Yeah.
And so I was upset, and I'm like, I kind of really want an expensive one, but and so then we left Home Depot. My husband thought about it, and he was like, okay, I remember how this goes. When we first bought the Cameo, you bought like a 2, or maybe you even tried out that other one, the Cricut or whatever.
Right.
And you made your life hell because you couldn't do what you wanted to do. And now we're doing the same thing. You want a laser, and you want this $300, $400 one, and it's not going to make you happy. It's going to take you longer. You're going to get frustrated.
Right.
So then he was like, I think we should go. We're starting to watch YouTube videos on like the next level up, which I will call like the OMTech.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up getting an OMTech. I got a 60 watt, and I was so excited about it. And I was in California visiting my family, and my niece, you guys have probably met her. Her name's Elizabeth. Okay, I have to say this again. You'll have to edit, make sure I get her name right. Elizabeth Gantreford. And so I get excited, and I tell her that I'm getting a laser. And we'd had businesses before. And she goes, oh, yeah, I just ordered one. I ordered an Eon. And I'm like,
oh, instant FOMO.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm 53. It's like fear of missing out, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry.
Totally. I was like, how much was yours? And she's like, I don't know. And she named numbers that were way higher than mine. And it had to be like the big one. It was going to take 6 to 8 months, but she got classes before, and she was already putting in a venting system. And I was like, I was kind of like sad.
Right.
But then she's type A personality. So I was like, hey, I think we should partner. Like, you be the California base, I'll be the Texas base.
Yeah.
And so when we sat down, she helped me set up like my whole file system on my computer for and I still use it today because she's type A. So she like did them all like super awesome. Like Christmas, door rounds, teacher, these kind of file systems, because left on my own, it's all in the file called Etsy download.
Yeah. Oh, same.
And then I just type in a name like teacher and try to find it.
That's me.
So that's how I started. I had an OMTech. It was in my laundry room. My laundry room was probably a 10 by 10 room, and my laser room was half of that.
Right.
In the corner.
Well, but it's perfect because you have a built-in vent. You don't have to drill any holes because the dryer vent's right there.
Oh no, we put it out the window. I cut a hole through this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Through the.
I don't think it's safe to combine the two.
I thought she converted her laundry room.
Oh yeah,
no.
Still a laundry room. Yeah.
Y'all can picture this. We got the washer and dryer. We have 4 loads of overflowing laundry baskets on the floor, coming down out of the laundry chute into the mess. And then there's me over here in the corner with my laser that's like, fire and stuff. It was exciting. It was a journey.
I mean, our podcast studio used to be in our technical laundry room because our laundry was in the garage.
It was in the garage.
It was also in the garage.
Yeah.
Listen, laundry chute.
But no, but the podcast studio was not. The laser wasn't in there.
That's what I said, the podcast studio.
Okay.
Yeah. But
It
like,
doesn't
so
matter where you started though. You just got
Yeah.
started.
exactly.
That's what I try to tell people who are starting their business. You know, it doesn't matter if you got the $3.99 laser. It doesn't matter
Even if you get a diode.
and it doesn't matter if you got an Aeon
Yep.
or a Thunder or whatever.
Right.
You know,
Completely agree.
it's you started somewhere.
Yep.
And don't worry, because it won't be your first laser.
Right. No, it really won't.
It's like chickens. Once you get one, you have to have like a whole flock.
Right. Well, I mean, so there are people like a diode it's not a terrible first purchase. If you really aren't sure if lasers are for you, get a cheap diode. Get there's one called the laser pecker. Like get one of those and try it out and engrave a hat patch or a keychain or something. Sure, it might take you 2 hours, but if you love the keychain, you can sell them and then you can still gradually like build it up. It's going to take you a while and it's going to kind of have to be like, oh, I'm going to work on this other thing while it lasers for 2 hours over here. You're going to have to, be good at multitasking to make it worth your time. But just, I mean, yeah, like you said, starting anywhere.
Join the groups that will teach you how to use whatever laser you have. Because and I don't want to make these assumptions, but my Omtech, it's very, it's like a manual laser.
Yes.
Everything's manual. I was totally okay with that. I'm a technical person. So I was all over it. Right. Where you always talk about that probably would have given you a heart attack.
And I would have never used it. Yeah.
Y'all, I used that Omtech for almost a year. I was going crazy. And finally, someone on a group told me to check the power switch. Take my Omtech apart and look at the power box, whatever that is. It was set to like European setting. Like, I don't know what, 110 or 220.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't set for the correct power. So I built my business at half power. Okay. Basically.
Wow. Yeah.
And that was because some amazing person in a group, told me what to do. And we won't even get into like alignment.
Right.
I think honestly, there's a whole field for someone to go out and align and clean lasers.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Someone start a business, I'm all over it. Come here and clean this sucker and align.
I mean, it's a lot of travel.
It is, but it's not a bad idea because he's my cleaner and aligner. If any of those things need to be done, I will. Speaking of, we should probably do that soon. I don't think I need an alignment, but I don't use it a lot. But I haven't cleaned it lately, so we probably should do that. But I'll put it off, and I'll say, oh, I'll put it off till next time, and then I don't use my laser for a month, and then I'm like, oh, but I can't do it now. I have 5 minutes. I'll do it next time. So yeah, if I could set up someone, I mean, you'd have to have good liability insurance because if you fuck up their machine, you'll have to.
I'll talk to Danny. Maybe he wants to expand.
Right. But
and then you can make them honeycombs out of like Teflon plates or whatever, like Teflon pans, to where it's just like spray and clean. I will never scrub anything. I mean, if I can't spray it with something or soak it with something and spray it off, it's going back in with chunky stuff on it, and I'll deal with it because I don't have time, because the only time I'm ever going to clean it is when there's a crisis and it's really messed up and I seriously have to get back to work. And so they either need to do away with it completely, because the honeycomb, so many people take it out and just lay it on stuff.
Yeah.
Or, I had a brilliant idea. Someone write this down. Make the honeycomb into little tiny sections that we could just take out and clean one.
Or replace.
Yeah.
Make them like glow forward.
That's probably
size.
a reason why
people have like 17 by 12 or something.
Right. Yeah. 12 by 20.
Make those little honeycombs that size, and you just fit them in there, and then you can take them out and throw them in the sink and wash them.
Right.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I have just solved the laser problems of the century.
Ow. I'm getting an ab workout over here.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how I started. I just started making stuff. I started making, I don't know, 4th of July, sold welcome signs for $10 just to get my name out there.
Right.
And I would just stand there in front of that sucker being like, oh my gosh, it just cut hello. Oh my, everyone come over. We're cutting welcome.
Isn't it so amazing? Like
it is.
Your first few cuts, it's like, oh, that's so cool. And like I had a friend that every time I would post like my laser like cutting, she'd be like, I could watch this for hours.
And you know what? I can still watch it for hours.
Same.
I just am so amazed that there's a technology where we can pull something out of our head and cut it on our laser.
Right? Yeah.
You know?
I've always loved how, especially from like the Glowforge days, I'll never forget it was your brother's birthday. And we didn't have anything like for him. We were all getting together to do like cake or something. And I was like, I want to make him something. And I didn't know what. He probably doesn't even have it anymore. And he doesn't know that like
I'm sure he does. I think it's at the gym.
That's true. But and I want to update it and make it like badass with like acrylic, like because that was still in my wood days. But anyway, it was his birthday and we were going in a couple hours. And that's usually how I work. If it's needed in the next 5 hours and I should be doing a million other things, let me make a really complicated file
and design 10-hour project and I'm going to implode.
And we need to leave in 5.
Right.
So I was like, oh, what can I make him? And I'm like, oh, I can make him a 3D bench press
squat rack.
Business card. Yeah. No, it's bench press.
Is it like the table with the bar that goes up? Is that a bench press?
Yeah. So, I mean, it could be a squat rack too. There's no like
it was squat rack because it's a card.
There's a whole bunch of us that have no idea what either one of those are. So you can just call it whatever.
I'm clearly not in the gym enough using those machines to know which one it was.
Weight thing. With circles on it.
Right. And so I made like the whole, I had to deal with like kerf. I had to deal with like support things. I even like cut out like the little weights and they said like, the 45 or whatever on them.
That is so cute.
And like, I want to actually revisit it and turn it into like a file I can sell or, again, update it with acrylic because I'm still amazed. And that was like early on in the Glowforge part of my journey. And I was like, hold my beer. And, it took me like 3 hours, but the fact that I could be like, oh, it's your brother's birthday. We don't have anything. Give me a couple hours and I'm going to show up with this a completely customized like thing that because he was a bodybuilder at the time but also a personal trainer, still a personal trainer, and it was awesome. Like it was awesome to be able to do that. And I do that like still to this day. That's when my laser actually gets turned on, is like, oh, there's something happening, let me in the last hour make something like Ryan's sign or the keychains for your grandmother's memorial and like all those things. Like you
have mentioned that so many times on the podcast. Like, what was it? A plumber was working and you made him like a keychain or electrician.
Yeah.
And every time I hear these little nuggets from you, I'm so envious because I am totally opposite zone. I will make tons of stuff. And my own granddaughter, her sign was like 6 months late.
Or I'm that way too.
Done like before my daughter-in-law got home from the hospital. Somehow I got the name and I even put it on one of the lows or the rounds that were already done. All I had to do was paint it.
Right.
Like it seems like things I have to do for family. I tend to procrastinate because I'm on such a time thing for everybody else, and I feel terrible.
Listen, I'm clean procrastinating. Do you know how long this sign took?
Ryan had to fly out
a year and something. And literally the reason it happened is because Ryan was coming to visit in person the second studio. He contributed $500 to the first studio that we weren't even in anymore. And he was coming to this one. And I'm like, I think I have to make Ryan sign. Like,
thanks for your support, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Believe
No,
me,
it's
you're
not
not
because
alone.
we don't love you. It's not
No.
because we don't love you. It's not because
Not
you're
at
not
all.
thought about.
Mm-mm.
We actually want to make it really well, and we keep putting it off because we know that we want to make it right.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I don't know, our anxiety just builds up, and we put a lot of pressure on something that is something we do all the time for maybe for other people. But when it's a personal thing, it becomes so much more emphasized in our life that we just take a little more time. And actually, when you get it, it's probably it's super special because we did think about, we actually thought about it for
a
so
really
long before we made it.
Well, and like, I mean, it just happened to me the other day that like, my friend Faze, who has the auto detailing, he's actually changing his business while he's still waiting for like something from me from months and months and months before. And, you know, we were waiting until, oh, we're going to move. I'll get it to you in like a month or two. No, I'm not. Like, we're still barely like, we're set up, but not really. And so I still haven't made it for him. And I'm like, well, crap. I'm like, all right, well, let me know what your new business logo looks like. And I'll make sure to make you something for when that one shows up. And then I have a friend that we had met on our honeymoon in DR. She needs 2 cutting boards and coasters. And every week I'm like, this is going to be the week that I do it. And then, I plan so much in the week, and then that week happens, and then it doesn't happen. And then there's weeks like this week, which we'll talk about in the life update, but this week did not go as planned at all. And so like that happens to me every single week. And I also, like you said, I don't want to rush it. She's going to pay me good money for these gifts,
real life money
that she's going to gift to, her like friends or family. And it can't be shit. And I also know that when I try and rush, that's when I'm trying to censor just only for you. This is when I F stuff up, when I'm in the last minute, I'm rushing. Yep. Let me just knock this off my plate. And then I screw up the last cutting board I have or whatever, because I forgot to center it, or I forgot to set my origin, or whatever.
Right. It was set to absolute and not user or current position or.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So
we know how to do all that. You know what I mean? Like we can we get by pretty good.
Yeah.
With none of us are experts. None of us are experts.
Well, and the other thing is that I actually had to fix my origin the other day. So I think I just recently had to do the light burn update because I was having problems with like my laser connecting. Yes. And so I did the light burn update, but then it changed a bunch of things. And so what was happening was after I would cut, instead of returning to the origin I set, it was returning to like the, top right. And normally that's fine, but I do a lot of like 2-part cuts where I'll cut something, remove the masking, add 3M, put it back. And I need that origin to stay
right there.
Like when I did Ryan's sign, when I did the red, I cut the like rectangle around the red, took it out, removed the masking, put the 3M and put it back in. Well, now I have to reset my origin. Thankfully, I give myself like a cushion so it doesn't have to be like exactly perfect. So it was okay, but it was also annoying because, it didn't just home right to where I know it should.
And so stress in that moment when you're hitting cut, or start, you're like, I don't got time for this.
Exactly.
And cut exactly like we had planned. Before you went off on your own somewhere. Like
I literally
have 10 seconds to get this right.
I finished his sign like approximately like 11 minutes before he showed up. So, and then of course I was having, those issues. I was having connection issues, of course. And, but afterwards I didn't know how to fix it. But I knew who to ask. I asked a couple friends. They weren't quite sure. They knew where it was, but they didn't know like the exact steps. And so I put in like a support ticket and I got my answer, pretty quickly. And it took me like 5 seconds. If you didn't know, if your laser also goes to top right, all you do is you go into your machine settings and you go to, I think, some origin setting, and then you choose, set origin instead of like, I think it's absolute origin, but it's in machine settings while your laser is on. If you also have,
I never touch machine settings. That's for when we do cups and tumblers. And then my son helps me on the tumblers, because I will tell you that anxiety wise, tumblers are the most anxiety. And I see all the lovelies out there that just, oh, look at, I did 200 Yetis. One Yeti for me is a catastrophic event, because I know the price of that Yeti.
Oh, okay,
and it's probably chartreuse, and they don't have that in my little Weatherford town. There's no way I can replace it.
So speaking of that anxiety, Will posted the other day and was asking, how much do you charge to engrave on a provided tumbler? And everyone's like, oh, $10, $15, this, giving all of these answers. And I said, $0. I do not, and it's $0 for me unless they have an extra one for testing and, you know, settings, or if I screw it up, because if I have one, I'm going to mess it up because I overthink it, and I miss something, I skip a step, whatever, and that's when I'm going to use my blue setting instead of my setting for all the other colors, because blue and red are kind of like finicky sometimes. Yeah. I'm going to use the wrong one and screw up my one last white tumbler, or their tumbler that their grandma gave them, or, you know, so like I realized early on that, like, and even then it still gives me anxiety, and I'll only do it for like a friend or someone I really like who like begs me because they don't know anybody else. Remember when I did that urn?
The urn, yeah.
I made her, I was like, listen,
buy a second one.
I won't.
Wait,
I told her,
did you say an urn?
An urn.
Yeah.
Yeah, she couldn't, she wanted, don't tell anybody, but she wanted a trademark logo because it was this person's like favorite logo, and obviously that company, you know, wouldn't do it for her. And like, and I told her the same reason. I'm like, I can't do that. Like, and she begged me and begged me and begged me, and I'm like, okay, fine. And I'm like, okay, but here's the thing. I'm like, I would have to have 2 of them in order to do it. And I'm like, I know how expensive urns are. We had just bought one for our dog, a small dog at that, let alone like a human. And I was like, you know, unfortunately, it like, you're going to have to buy 2 of them, and you're going to have to ship them to me. And then I got to ship them to you. And I would love to ship you 2 completed urns at the same time. I have to test my settings. I have to, you know, and I had to, and I was still super anxious about screwing them up because I knew how like expensive they were. And I'm totally that person who's done the test. The test works perfect. I go to do it on the real one, and again, find a way to just mess it up, or it gets caught on something or whatever. So yeah, that my anxiety has taught me that like, there's a lot of items that just don't work for me and my business. There's that guy that we had on, Michael, and all he does is pretty much engrave one-offs of other people's things. That's like, you know, a $200 like, what was it, like a helicopter propeller or something crazy like that. Yeah, and like, and he can do it and be like,
he's really confident.
Have anxiety. They must not have anxiety like us. Like I'm paralyzed, and mine are JDS cups. I'm paralyzed over like a $10 tumbler. You know, because I only bought 10 and they ordered 10. And so now everyone's like, Mom, why did you buy 12? Because I'm going to screw up. And okay, we didn't screw up. Okay, well, we have 2 over there now. Because I just know I can't handle the stress of it. You know, but now I actually have another laser person in my community. I figured out like profit wise, he does all my engraving, and now I don't have to worry, you know.
Super smart.
I still have my little pie burn, and I love everyone that talks amazing things about the pie burn. There's still stress, okay? There's some like machine setting that we have to do. Yeah. There's like, oh,
you have to measure your cup
halfway because it hit the X or the Y.
Yep.
You know, wood doesn't do that. Wood, you just chuck it and you go get another piece of wood and you put it in there, and you just keep going. And
But figuring out what works for you and what stresses you. And then also, if it's something you want to still offer to your customers, what you did by finding someone local to you who doesn't mind doing those things and either sending your customers that direction or having them do it for you, and you just then, make less of a profit. Like when I was still doing t-shirts, I had my friend do t-shirts and she still made some money. She still made most of the profit, but I would still make like $5 to $10 off that t-shirt. My customer was still happy. I didn't have the stress of actually having to make it myself. I'm now supporting yet another small business because she's making some profit from the shirt as well. Like I highly recommend that. So if there's anything in your business that is stressing you out, find a way to connect with someone in order to get that off your plate.
101 right there. That was like in your first 1 or 2 podcasts. You were like, I don't like wood. I only do acrylic. Find what brings you joy. If painting isn't your thing, painting's not my thing. I do acrylic. And I was like, painting's my thing. I don't do acrylic. Like now I'm like, acrylic's not that bad. I'm dipping my toe. Like I have an entire shelf full of acrylic because I have to buy it. Right. It's the thing, we have to.
He's staring at
the laser hoarder in me,
and all of us.
But at first I love painting. For every bit of painting you don't like, that's my favorite part.
I'll send my people, anyone who asks me for that, I'll make sure to send them your way. I know a person. If I can't convince you to do acrylic, I know a person who can paint it for you.
That's right. Only big stuff though. Don't be sending me your little 5mm earrings and posts or whatever. That's what
you like to paint. But you like to paint.
All of you with your little toolies and like dipping little eyeballs onto like a jack-o'-lantern that's like this big. You special. You great people. You have a gift. And I have no desire to make anything that tiny.
Yeah.
That does not bring me joy.
Yeah, I get it. So let's talk about me trying not to cough. Let's talk about your 10K month.
My accidental viral post.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have to start with so I do a whiskey walk. My first year on the whiskey walk, my friend invited me to it. She said someone dropped out. We have this booth. It's in the town square. It's a wine and whiskey walk. So I threw that sucker together in a week. And that was awesome with my anxiety because it was 1 week. 1 week before. And I just happened to have some stuff.
Yeah.
The second year came about. I had time to plan, which is absolutely the worst for anxiety. But I went into our group and I'm like, hey, anyone have any good idea? Or you know what? I just posted the flyer that I was going to do this event. And Will replied, hey, I think these whiskey smokers would be cool for your event. And I was like, okay. And I probably had like $500 in my bank account. And I was like, all right, I'll get like 5 of them. We'll see how they sell. So we engraved them. We brought them to the whiskey event. And also this was when I also decided that I was going to go on TikTok. And I was really trying to like show my face on TikTok and like smile. And now I just decided that it doesn't really matter what you look like or anything.
It really doesn't.
Algorithm for TikTok is just random. Who you are.
Yep.
So of course, I got my son to do the whiskey thing because I didn't know anything about whiskey. I didn't know anything about these whiskey smokers. My he's a whiskey connoisseur. So I just took a video of him doing it. And then I posted it on Facebook. No, I posted it on TikTok. And the crazy thing was during that week, I literally wanted to like give up my business. I was having one of those weeks where I'm like, it was September and it was, it was so slow. And I just thought, is this even worth it? So anyways, we post that TikTok and like on a Thursday, and we were Friday night. I was like, what's with my phone? We get all these like weird notifications. And now my Shopify is kind of making noises. We sat there and we watched that TikTok go from like 0 to 200K in a few hours.
Yeah.
And then we had my Shopify. Did I say Spotify?
No, you said Shopify.
That's my gift. I like to mix up words.
You're not the only one who mixed those two up. And autocorrect likes to screw me up too. Even when I don't say the wrong one, it likes to put Spotify instead of Shopify.
Yeah, right. Same with me. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So all of a sudden, we had up on like the TV, you know, like your Apple whatever mirror, and you put it up there, and we're watching like my Shopify be like, pew, pew.
So cool.
And it was all fun and games when you're like watching the whole thing, and you're like, wow, this is so cool. Like people are buying stuff.
And then you realize you have to make all those.
And then I'm like, oh, I don't even own any. I only own the 5, and I sold them. So I'm like, hey, Will,
how many you got?
These from me, like, and I need them tomorrow. He's like, okay, I'll whatever airship you like however many, like the first shipment. And I'm like, okay, we good. And it just keeps going and going. I think it was 3 weeks of constant purchases.
Wow.
And it was truly amazing because and you know this from like your penis days of your unique
you remember
your ornament
before I met you, your penis days.
Your penis days, the ornament.
You can't make me laugh that hard. I have this cough. I love how she wants me not to curse, and she goes from your penis days.
Hey,
Barbie, I love you.
Hold on.
Yes, I know what you.
But it was.
It was my inappropriate ornaments.
Inappropriate adult ornaments
on TikTok. I was barely even on TikTok, and I didn't even make the TikTok. It was a friend who made it. So yeah, a customer who made it, and I was I was like, she bought the last ones I was making that year, and then she
came on. That's when you have to figure out your whole system.
You do.
And the beginning of your website.
It's the whole reason I have a website. Honestly, like it was very short-lived for me because they were ornaments, and it was literally like a couple weeks before Christmas. Yeah. And I limited them. I made them very expensive because I was pregnant and miserable. So I probably only made about like $1,000 probably from my viral moment, which I mean is nothing like to complain about for sure. I think it might have been a couple. It wasn't much though, because that was fine for me because it was $1,000 or $2,000 I didn't plan on making. And it was a cool moment to have and whatever, and that moment made it so that I actually set up my website, which I had been snail pacing and like messing with here and there for months. I would spend like a couple hours, I'd barely get anywhere. The next time I'd log in, I'd change everything I did the last time because I didn't like it. And with the going viral, I didn't have a website.
That object has to be on the front page now for everyone to see, because you want to make everything quick.
Very quick and easy.
The viral video that did not have my website on it, of all the videos that I have made, it was the only one. So I sat for hours like this. You can purchase it at www. Reply. That's at www.
I told people to message me.
I made I did the link tree. I put the picture on the front, and then of course, I used someone else's picture. And so I didn't have those designs that were posted.
Right.
I think I stole it from Amazon. Sorry.
I love the awkward.
I didn't know that this thing, I didn't even know what a whiskey smoker was,
Right.
So then I'm having to figure out what these, a deer and a flag. Okay, I'm in Texas. We do deer and flag. Okay, find this one. And all of a sudden I'm finding all these designs.
Right.
But nobody wants those designs. Everybody wants, their own makeup monogram.
Oh,
no. Like monogram. Okay, but do you know what a monogram is? The middle initial is typically the last name. I don't know if you know that, because
it always throws people off who don't know about monograms. I mean, it would throw me off because my monogram would be CAM instead of CMA, which is my initials. So everyone's like, oh, that's wrong.
Right. Or put my initials. Okay, well, I don't know your initials. I just learned that the whole personalization thing was so crazy. And so during the day, I would actually message and email everybody their design.
Oh my goodness.
And then wait for them to say okay.
Oh.
And I would print out, literally like a stack of orders. And then I would write, as they sent me a text back or an email back, that which one they wanted. I usually gave them like 3 choices.
Right.
And one of them was straight out. She just said she wanted Mason, MASON. That's fine. People were giving me names to put on it. So I mail out Mason, and then I get a thing that, like, I'm crazy because I put Mason when she actually meant the Masonic emblem.
What?
Like, I even know, like,
I don't know what that is, lady.
How was I supposed to get that from Mason?
Right.
So I did have to put my foot down on that one and say, like, hey, I'll give you like 50% off.
I'll give you a discount.
There's no way I could have
known that.
Years know like what your brain meant when you put Mason.
Right.
But otherwise, we just had a system. I emailed and text, and then when Eric was done working, we came out here. I had boxes and labels, and we just set up a plan, a system.
Right.
I include them all.
What is it called? A production line?
Yeah, production line. And Eric does QC for a living. Eric's my husband. So he was in charge of looking at the order and seeing
making sure
I did exactly what the person asked.
Right.
Because I'm in my own mode over there at the laser, praying to God that, the precious whiskey smoker top,
right,
gets engraved correctly, because, I only bought so many from Will. And as soon as we finish those, I have to order another box of them. And it just kept going. And, but it really helped me figure out a whole system.
Yeah.
I know how to do a jig, how to set up everything, the page, that the Lightburn page, it basically had like, by the end of the adventure, every single whiskey smoker I've ever engraved is on that page somewhere.
Right around the off the cut area.
No particular order, because I'm not type A people. I didn't write like, order number 1745, got this one.
Right.
God
I wish I was, but I'm not.
I'm creative and I don't make excuses. It's how my brain works. You want something beautiful, you come to me. You don't come to me for, some detailed Excel spreadsheet, because that's not going to happen.
Exactly. Yep.
So that's how that went. And then we went on a couple of rounds of it, and it was great. And everyone's like, when are you going to do your whiskey smokers this year? And I'm like, I'm getting to it. I probably have PTSD a little bit,
Yeah.
Do you limit them?
If I were to sell 200 right now, I don't know if I could even get them.
Right.
So,
and I mean, soon after there was some like patent issue stuff going around, because they were a hot commodity for a lot of people. They were like just kind of going, when something goes viral or when something gets popular, then it shows up like everywhere.
Right.
And so then if they know a laser friend, then that laser friend starts making them too, and whatever. And then there was a guy, I don't know what came of it. Like, I don't know if there are any that you can buy that don't violate the patent, or, it's not something I personally have ever made. So I didn't really like look into it too far. But I know that there was a while where there's like some takedowns on Etsy and that kind of stuff due to.
I don't know anything about that. I am so naive in that area. If I look on Amazon or somewhere and they are selling it, I'm gonna buy it. And if there's some patent thing, I didn't get the memo. And
I don't even know if it's still a thing. I don't know whatever ended up with it. And again, I didn't really like follow it because it didn't like affect my world.
Right.
But yeah, I know that there was at least that.
A name on it.
You what?
I'm just putting a name on it.
Well,
I didn't make the thing.
I'm
just putting a name on it.
Because people were getting takedowns, not just the ones who were selling the blanks, the people who were actually making like the engraved items too. So I don't know. So yeah, maybe now I'll check into that and see. I'll give an update on what's the latest on that if I can find out. But I mean, that's the hard part too. Yeah.
You know, what's up with it? I don't know. I just found some last week. They were like $10.99 each on Amazon, but you can only buy one at a time. So I was like, one. $10.99 was a good deal because I engrave them. I sell them for $55.
Yeah, that's a great markup.
I do buy the upgraded, the most important piece, which I don't have around here, the torch. And so, like, I just did an event and I had to explain to all these whiskey guys how the torch was the most important thing, you know.
Yeah.
You don't want any bad torches because then they get returned.
Yeah.
The little tiny ones that like click, or you have to educate people.
Yeah.
It's a lighter and you need butane to light it.
Right.
And you can't ship, I don't believe it loaded with butane.
Right.
And so it was all those things that you learn when you sell something that is a little different.
Right.
You know, you have to sort of get educated, you know, and educate your customers.
Right.
You know, I learned all about butane and where to get it and how to actually like load it into like the torch.
Yeah.
And then how to like smoke whiskey. That was like a big thing. A part of the selling that was like actually knowing what that whole system was.
Right. Well, because then, I mean, you're also probably selling it to people who don't know, but think this is probably cool for someone who does enjoy whiskey, like their husband or their brother or their friend, but they don't personally know. So they're like gifting them something that they don't even know how to use.
Those are my customers.
Right.
Those are my customers. They think it's cool and they're buying it for their dad. And I'm over here praying that dad knows what this is.
Right.
You know, and then I did find a directions. And so like, but the first few I wasn't putting directions because I didn't know anything about it anyway.
Yeah.
You know? It was all new to me. But then as you questioned, I'm like, you know what? We need directions on how to use it.
Right.
You know? And luckily one that was sent to me had this really pretty picture. And so we just duplicated that picture and put it in all the ones that we sold.
Yeah.
And just, you know, it was great. It was great to have the experience of selling a lot in a short time because it really helps you develop a workflow.
Yeah.
And that continued
out of survival. Yeah.
Because once that hit in October, you know, the depression exited the system. Like I was no longer depressed. I was now in like beast mode. I'm like killing it, you know, and we don't got time for anxiety. We put that away because now we're activated. And I was like control freak.
Yeah.
You know, everything had to be just right. Now I'm some kind of crazy person who has to have the sticker in the right spot on the box and we got to mark it right. And
yep.
You know, I got the kids out there. I'm teaching them the sticker goes right here, not upside down, not crooked. You know, we're professional.
Funny you say that.
Fun fact.
So my mother-in-law is going to be moving in soon, and she was over a few days before we were leaving for Mexico. And we're, you know, showing her the ropes and stuff. And I'm, you know, sitting there putting the keychain thingies labels on all of my packages. And I'm very, perfectionist. And so the sticker goes like in the middle, centered between the sides and the top and the bottom and whatever. And I'm trying to like let that stuff go because I have so much that I'm not accomplishing because I have to do everything myself.
Just so you know, the people you're selling them to are like me, who I'm just excited that they come in different colors. Right. And then I throw it in my little box. And although you took all that time to put that sticker on, you're selling it to a a person
who don't care. Exactly.
Right, it's not a priority, but I understand.
Yeah, because she offered to help, and because she loves to be like busy. Helpful. She wants to help. She wants to be busy. She wants to. Right. And she sees me doing it because, we're all sitting there on the couch watching TV. And if I'm working, she wants a job too because she feels like, it gives her anxiety to not be helping while we're working or doing something. And so I gave her some. And I was actually using those like ones that she made the other day. And one was like super far down, like almost on the bottom to the left. And it was like, I showed it to John. I was like, tell me not to fix this. Cause like,
she's like, what do I do with this? I'm like, put product in it. Keep going.
That's right.
And I don't want to be like,
this is what I tell myself.
Yes.
I have 5 kids and I'm a crafty person.
Yeah.
So I would say those first 3 kids, anytime a project was due, it was a parent controlled project.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a long time to learn to like step back and let them have their moment.
Yeah.
Well, my 17-year-old the other day, he got a project to make a car. He's like super smart. Okay. So he's taking, I don't know, physics, I think. And so they had to make a car out of a mousetrap.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was so impressed. He was like, Mom, I'm going to do this on my own. And he went upstairs in his room. He used a hot glue gun. Woo! He did all this stuff. And I was like, every bit in me wanted to take the hot glue pieces that were messy and not perfect.
Right.
And then I just had to realize that the kid just made this whole, like, I didn't even know he could do that.
Right. Right.
Or anytime somebody wants to help us, yes, I do want all my stickers, at least like the main sticker needs to be in the right place.
Right.
But if we're doing 60, 70 whiskey smokers and my son sticks a sticker in a wrong place, and if someone has offense to that,
right. Exactly.
God bless you that you have that time. Because,
exactly.
Like your mother-in-law, it's such a blessing that she wants to be a part, and they always need a job.
Right. She always needs a job.
Here's my advice to those with their mother-in-laws. Give them a job.
Mm-hmm.
As a control freak, which my mother-in-law is a control freak, and that's why I love her, because I know that if I don't do it crazy, she's gonna crazy it up even more.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing better than
her. Yeah, and if I don't give her a job, she's gonna find one. It's not gonna be the one I want her to do.
like there's some people in my house that you can't help me paint.
Yes, exactly.
You can help me paint, but just so you know, I am gonna repaint it when you're done.
Right. When I told her she wanted to fold my laundry, and I'm like, I go, listen, I'm like, I want you to fold my laundry too, because I hate folding laundry, but I'm very particular how I want my laundry folded. I'm like, if you fold it, I'm only going to fold it again. I'm like, so it really doesn't make sense for you to fold it for then me to fold it again. So I'm like, and I also don't really want my mother-in-law folding my underwear.
Clothes in their drawers. It's it's the last kid out of 5. It took me that long to realize that it ain't ever going to happen. It isn't ever going to stay the same.
Right.
And as fast as I can fold them, she's going to wear them and they're going to be on the floor or
right.
You know what? Or they're
she can definitely fold.
Folded.
Yeah, she can fold the kids. Well, so it's just my personal laundry. She can fold John's. She can fold the kids. I don't care what she does to theirs. That doesn't bother me at all.
Just Princess wants her clothes folded a certain way because we are the queen.
Yes, like he would fold them sometimes, but like the thing would, the arm would be like folded up like a little bit.
And you have to put it down, or otherwise it's never going to go back down.
It's just a little fold, a little crease.
Yeah.
It has to be like perfectly. I'm like, I'm not in the army. You do it yourself.
Exactly. But that's why I said, I was like, I appreciate you. I was like, however, I'm crazy and I have to do it to myself. But so she has folded all the other laundry. And so I think I've said this a few times, even on the podcast, how she finished folding one load of laundry and she thought she was all done. And he pulls up with another hamper, which I would have thrown like a full blown adult temper tantrum that there was another one to fold when I thought I was done. And her eyes lit up and she was so excited that there was like more laundry to fold. She was so happy. And I was like,
I love her.
It's great. So as long as I can find jobs that I'm like okay with delegating, which I suck at, she'll be helpful. She'll help until
every box you haven't unpacked and let her unpack it, because you can always rearrange it, but it's out of the box.
This is true.
Yep. To put it somewhere, which we wouldn't have known where to put that thing for at least 3 weeks, and we would have stressed about it. But now that it's out, now we're crazy because we know exactly where it needs to go. It's where you did
just not there
in the wrong place. But now that it's out, I'm gonna go put it where it needs to go.
Right. Exactly.
That's her crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
That's her crazy.
So after your 10K month, like how did things go from there? Like did the kind of
Christmas, and we bought lots of stuff for everyone.
Right. Yeah.
And then I bought a sublimation printer and an oven because I was gonna expand into the sublimation world. And it was right there. And I made 4 things this whole year.
Hey, you made 4 things.
Yeah, I tried. I didn't have a heat press, which, by the way, if you're gonna buy sublimation stuff, buy a heat press and put the money into the heat press, because I bought the Cricut, which I love all my Cricut friends, and God bless you and all that, but if you want to run a business, it doesn't start with the C word over there, okay? Because there's something, there's just I tried doing that thing where you like put your whole body and sit on the thing, and nothing worked with that. I don't know what you make with that, but you don't sell stuff that you make.
You can make like, I don't know, some shirts and stuff, but I saw it. Huh?
I couldn't even make keychains. It was like
I saw the video where they're like trying to like I think it wasn't from actually Cricut, it was from someone else, and they were like showing how how she does it, and she's like, oh, you have to like kind of like lean into it just right.
I was like, whole body
I'm out.
I don't have 60 seconds to lean on anything, okay, unless it's like I'm waiting on like a burger being made and I'm standing there waiting for it,
right?
But, so I just bought a heat press in the last 3 weeks, so
nice.
I did reinvest into my business past that
point. For you.
And then I learned, I redid my whole website after all of that. I made a whole men's line, because now I have 600,000 whatever TikTok people that like looked at my whiskey smoker. So then I created like a men's line. I learned how to like engrave decanters, ammo cans.
Yes.
We made a humidor out of an ammo can.
Nice.
Yes, it's
that
gone.
With my passion.
I was gonna say, John's gonna want more info on that.
To find the Spanish cedar.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping Casey, if you're listening, I'm waiting, and I'm not gonna post on your group asking for it.
Publicly call him out.
Yeah. I just want to vent for 10 seconds.
Go for it.
Okay. All our beautiful suppliers, they are business, hardworking suppliers.
Yeah.
If you're in this laser community and you post publicly, like, hey, I put in an order and I didn't get it on their Facebook group. I think you're rude. And
there
I think
was
you should send it to an email, to their business email, or private message them, because
right.
Rude.
There was one the other day where someone posted in one of the generic groups, and she said that she didn't mean it. What was going on with her garage door?
I don't know. I think it's because it's windy outside.
Oh, okay. She said she didn't mean it in like a bad way, but she said, "Oh, I received my acrylic order, and there was like so many like super damaged items. What do I do? Whatever." And I was so proud of our community because almost every single person commented on there and was like, you don't post it here. You contact the company, you send them an email, you give them a call if they have a phone number.
Right.
You give them time to get back to you and you let them make it right. And, of course, the supplier, ended up seeing it and commented and was like, please send me a message. I'll take care of it. We'll replace those sheets, send them out tomorrow. Whatever. And there were so many people who came to the supplier's defense and then, she didn't understand why everyone was kind of like jumping on her. And she was like, I swear I didn't mean this in a bad way. I really just didn't know how to handle it. And it's like, you as a business owner, people were like, well, do you want one of your customers who received that acrylic thing that you made
out on your sales page?
And something happened in shipping and destroyed the item, and they posted on your public business page and say, it wasn't on her public business page, but it might as well have been because it was in one of the large groups that we're all in. And if someone doesn't,
we're protective of our people,
right? And if someone doesn't take the time,
I may not buy a lot of Casey's stuff,
right?
I mean, I do buy some of it. It's just because I haven't cut a lot of it. Right. I like to collect it. And then I like to think about it for a year and a half as to what I'm going to make with that one sheet of beautifulness.
Yeah.
But my God, don't you say anything bad about him or I'm coming for you.
Well, I mean, and even like, and they make mistakes too. Like it's possible that they make mistakes and we're all human. And, the problem is that if someone's scrolling past and they're new and they don't know anything about that person's company and say they just see that post and they don't take the time to go to the comments and see what the supplier said and what everybody said to that supplier's defense, they see that post and they're like, ooh, when I need acrylic, I'm not going to order from them. Right. And then they just keep going on about their merry way. And it's like, you have to think about that kind of stuff because when you're ordering from these people,
post your damn earrings, people. Post whatever you're making right now. I need lots of pictures so that I'll take my stuff off the shelf and throw it in the laser.
Right.
It's funny how we hoard because what? Okay, I paid $22 maybe for one of these sheets. My girlfriend just came over and I think she said she made 40 pairs of earrings off of one of those sheets. And she sold them for $12 each or something. And I'm over here thinking, what am I going to cut? Like, I don't make earrings.
Right.
I never want to make them. I shouldn't say never because all of a sudden I'm a Gemini. So next week I could be like, I'm earrings.
I love earrings.
Right. Earrings are my thing. I'm a Barbie girl and I make earrings. Like, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
It might happen. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just saying that it's $22. Cut the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Put it in the laser. I'm telling myself this. Put it in the laser and like cut an ornament.
Yep, you're talking to me.
I'm afraid of it.
Not even acrylic. How much you pay for the laser?
Gonna mess it up. Huh?
Not even the acrylic. How much did you pay for the laser? Maybe we should use the laser.
I'm going to.
Oh, my laser's getting used. Nice. Now that I'm not going to be doing tumblers, now I have both of them there, and I put them right next to each other now. So like, there's like the big laser and the little laser.
I love it.
I don't know if you guys can see. Hold on, I'm gonna pan this over here. I don't know if you can see. Is that the right window? No, we gotta keep going. Sorry for my mess, but do you see this window right here? Kudos to my husband. It took him a year, and we finally put that window in last weekend.
Nice.
I have 2 windows now in my barn. And as a person with anxiety, that window, the new window, I can see my driveway.
Yeah, and I didn't realize I needed windows until we moved into the garage with 0 windows. And I was like, I need windows.
They're gonna walk up on us and like want my stuff. They're gonna walk through my dogs across my 200-foot path and sneak up on me.
Right.
It happens, you guys. I have kids and I'd be over there working and then someone would walk in and next thing I know, they're like right behind me, like, Mom. And like I'd hit the roof.
Right. Yep.
I actually have a little sensor outside and it rings a doorbell in here. When
that's awesome. Someone's coming.
I know they're coming.
Like at the convenience store. Bing, boom.
Right.
I know now I can sell out my window. I can be like, hey, you want something?
Right. So is there any like hot topics that you didn't cover yet that you wanted to cover? Is there any like magical advice that you have?
For so long, I wrote a complete outline.
I told you we weren't going to use any of that.
I know.
It's good to have though if you need to fall back on it. So
yeah.
I've had episodes where I'm sure it'll be so easy for like the conversation to flow and go and we're going to have a million things to talk about and then come to that day, either the nerves of me, the nerves of them, just, the way the wind is blowing and it doesn't go that way. And I'm like, shit, I don't have like
what else?
Backup questions. I'm like, what else do we want to talk about? So it's good to have that, but it's also good that we didn't necessarily need it.
I just want to inspire people that, like I said, start wherever you are.
Start somewhere.
And just start going. And people like, how do you, my whole business is on Shopify. I have a little bit on Etsy. I seriously have like 6 products on Etsy. And why don't I have more? Because it takes a lot of time.
Right.
To make everything perfect. The SEO perfect.
Yep.
All my search words and all the things. And
hold on. Side note though, speaking on that, I just finally got my keychain files from my Etsy to my Shopify. And I found an app on Shopify that helps you transfer them easily so that you only have to do it once. Now, so what I did need to do, it took me forever because I'm me. And it transferred everything, but when it transferred, then I took the time to double check the file, make sure it's up to my current standards because some of these files are old. I updated the tags, like some of my tags still have like Glowforge in them because I didn't know at the time that I shouldn't be using their, I just thought, oh, well, it's sized for a Glowforge. Like it makes sense, but like it's technically infringing because I shouldn't be using their like brand name, whatever. So I've made, but as I uploaded those like 16 files, now it took me a couple days to upload those 16 files, even with this fancy app, but it took care of most of the work for me. And then I just had to go through and make a couple tweaks. And so now I have, my keychain files because that made the most sense especially for my Shopify because I sell keychain stuff.
Right.
And so I moved those over and most of the work is already done on Etsy. And so this app, I think it's like $5 a month. And then you have to kind of have
a little bit once it transfers it over.
Right. Well, and then once you have new listings too, you can have it to where it automatically does it. You can have it to where, and if you're fulfilling like physical orders, I didn't need it so much for me right now, but if you're fulfilling physical orders, it can share the inventory. So you don't have to be like, oh, I have 10 on Etsy. I have 10 more on my Shopify for 20 total. You can put 20 in there. And when you sell one on Etsy, it'll take it from that inventory, like they communicate to each other. So I think it's called.
So I don't even have inventory. I just put it all out there and then I make it on the fly and just hope that I have everything so far it's all worked out. I did do that and then I realized, and I'm just keeping it real, people.
Yeah. Hold on real quick.
A lot of pictures, the marketing pictures from the who I bought the
file
design from. So as I make that item, then I have to take my own pictures.
Right.
And so when I first started with Etsy, I noticed I can't do hardly any of these new things because I just bought the file and it's not even my picture. And I'm not going to put someone else's picture on Etsy. It has to be like my picture on Etsy. Now on my Shopify, I was like, no one's ever going to see my website. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not possibly going to be like famous and no one's going to buy stuff from me. When I made it, I didn't know that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just put stuff out there like, hey, I make this. Will you buy it from me?
Right.
And so over the course of the last year, I have been taking my own pictures, making my own designs.
It's very important.
Trying to decide what to put on Etsy, but then my Shopify does so well. And
that's great.
Really surprised, like how. So Pinterest, I get a lot of people that see my stuff on Pinterest because I use
heard about that.
Shopify that like published everything on Pinterest.
See, now, so going back to the app that I mentioned, I just wanted to mention the name for anyone who cares or needs it too. I think it's called Shuttle on the Shopify app. But tell me the Pinterest one too. So that
Pinterest.
Yeah.
I think it's from Pinterest.
Oh, okay.
App.
So I've heard people using Pinterest for like marketing, and I'm like, I like, you know, file it back here. That's cool to know, but like, I can't. It's too much right now. But yeah, that's amazing. I mean,
there's a lot of cool ideas that I pick up because I also took like a Pinterest class on YouTube. And it just taught me how to make a long ad. So if you look on Pinterest, some are square and some are long.
Right, the vertical,
The long ones are the good ones.
Yes.
So when you're doing your Shopify products, you want to put one of those long pictures in
don't tell me that.
So that when you post it to Pinterest from your products, you can pick the long picture.
I've been taking a lot of pictures lately, and what I realized when I've been trying to make reels and stuff for Instagram, I'll go to use a photo from, you know, an old, that whenever I took the product photos for that keychain, whatever it is, that file. Well, then I go to try and make a reel of it, and now it looks bad because I have the black bars on the top and the bottom because I made it square and not, you know, whatever. And even if I wanted to, I couldn't post the whole thing because when I'm taking the picture, when I was taking the picture, I just cared about what it looked like in that square. That my feet would be at the bottom and my disaster would be at the top, but I didn't care because I was going to crop that out anyway. Now, when I take photos, I make sure it doesn't have to be perfect, but I make sure that I can take a long photo and now she's screwing me up on the term. A vertical photo and a square one
into Canva and add your business color up above and below,
or a blur, or there's ways to
or something. Because on Pinterest, it's not about the full picture being part of that rectangle. It's more of an attention grabber. So you could put teacher gift.
Right.
Or something and fake it till you make it, because that's like the name of the game.
So
hold on just a second. So John, you have to not put this on, okay?
Oh. So photographer hack, for those using iPhones or cameras, is go into your settings and turn on the grid. And it gives you the third horizontal and vertical.
Yeah.
And keep it within that vertical.
Right.
Like when you're
you
taking
want your
the picture,
item in
keep your subject in that vertical.
That center one.
And then take the picture. You know, you can still make sure that the mess is away, but keep the subject in the vertical. And then that one picture, when you crop it down, your product is still good for vertical and also good for horizontal. So
oh my gosh, I just did a picture of a Christmas tree ornament. So it's like 5 inches.
Right.
And I put it into like one of those photo apps.
Yeah.
And put it on top of a building. Like it was this 100-foot Christmas tree on some AI thing. And I was hysterical. I said it to my whole family. I'm like, look at this. They put my Christmas tree on this building, and everyone's like, oh, my family, like non-technical.
Right.
And we were
Oh
like,
my God, so cool.
Now we have all this help because like Chat GPT app on my phone. I use it to write all my descriptions because I told my English teacher if I ever needed like to know grammar, I would have a editor. And so I didn't need whatever she was teaching me.
Right.
Yeah. AI is
it's changing things.
It's definitely helping a lot of things.
Yeah.
It is. It really is. It having all these things. So I updated my website. I added Will and Mark have those earn your points.
Oh, right.
So I have that app. I'll send you guys like all the apps that I use.
Yeah, send it to me for sure.
I also read a book and it talked about this CD company, DVD company, that when they sold a DVD, the status updates that they sent to their clients were really cute. Like one of our staff just went and took the DVD off the shelf. It has gloriously walked across the room and packaged it for you. And so all my status updates are funny. Like,
I love that.
Buy something, the first status is cheers have been heard throughout the craft room because you purchased our product.
I love that.
That was one of the things. It limits people from calling or emailing you for status. I have a status that emails them, in the laser.
Keeps them, It's like the pizza tracker.
Right, I was gonna say, like when you order a pizza in the oven.
And it helps so much, and I make it really funny, send to the artists where our artists are creatively hand painting your item and sent to the mail room. I'm a one-man shop. This is everything all in one. I'm the one that paints it. I cut it and, but it gives people a sense that you have a large business, and then Shopify lets you, I made everything 2 pounds at first because I didn't know anything about shipping.
Right.
So here's a thing of how I started my business. I just want to share this. When I started my business, the first thing I did was I made my logo. I made the colors of my business black and white because it's clean, crisp, and easy. I bought all black bags. I bought white tissue paper. These are all things that are very inexpensive.
Right.
I bought a Rollo label maker.
Man,
that's the one that plugs in. Never buy that. Buy wireless. Buy wireless.
I have the plug-in one still.
Because you have to plug it into a computer. It will not work on a Chromebook. It will not work on anything cheap. So I have to have another Mac over there to print out my labels. So I set up my business as if I was a large business. I bought my bags. I got all my boxes free from UPS because I tried to ship everything priority mail. Now I've sort of gotten some brown boxes from Amazon, but I don't buy from Uline because I don't have that large of a business where I want to spend much money. Plus I don't have the room to put 5,000 boxes in there.
Right.
So I did all these things to set up my business, even though I'd never mailed anything before. I never shipped. I never put anyone's address. I have no idea what the tax to charge for my city or their city. I just left it all to Shopify. And as I go through the process, I solve those problems on the fly.
As they come up. Yep.
Right. When you're starting, you just need to get started. Try not to overthink it because Crystal and I can tell you we are the friggin' queen of overthinkers. But if you just let it go, we'll figure it out because we want everything perfect.
Right.
So
and that's just not possible. I mean, when you're a new business owner, I say it all the time, you don't know what you don't know. And you just you learn those things by doing, which is so hard for us perfectionists because we want to know it all and we want to do it all right the first time. And sure, you can you can do that sometimes, but you kind of have to wait for that mistake to happen to know how to fix it and be like, oh, I shouldn't do that with my shipping, or it would be better to do shipping this way or whatever. But yeah, those are all things you kind of just have to learn once they come up.
When you're shipping, but you'll figure it out.
Yep.
Because if you don't know how much shipping is, by the 10th thing you send, you'll sort of start getting a clue as to how much
you'll have an average.
Yep. Right. And some people they buy, I'm gonna buy personalized tissue paper and all of that. You know, if you just put some jute around it and make it look good when you're first getting started, it's those moments, those first moments in your business. Do not go and don't spend the farm.
Right.
Spend the farm on the good stuff. You need a label printer. You can't go without it. It will make you feel professional.
Yes.
And a bag.
That's one thing that the Rolo was one thing that I always tell people, because of the price. It was $150, and just starting up was a lot of freaking money. And I waited on it for so long thinking, is it really going to save that much time? And it's like, it does save that much time. It saves the ink in your printer. I was just talking about this the other day, because anytime it comes up, I'd like jump on the opportunity to talk about it. But it really does make like a huge difference. You do feel like more professional business instead of feeding
print out like 3 labels at a time. You feel like you've hit it right. You're like near. It's a mental game, and we need those wins in the beginning.
Yes.
And then, I mean, when I got my first package from Will, literally when he sent me that sticker that said like something like "you're holding my package," I was on like cloud 9. Number one, I thought that was hilarious. It was from Will. Will's on Facebook. Everybody knows him, and I bought something from him. Like, these are these little things that are so fun, like in our little laser world. Okay, but then I was like, hey, my Rolo can print funny things. And so I have a little cow. It says, "Thank you so much." I bought the design off of, now I have hundreds of sticker designs that I can print with my Rolo. Because it's just those little things that make us stand apart. If I don't have my own personalized tissue paper, but you get a sticker that says "thank you so much," that's my little thing that I want, and having a black and white logo, I can print everything on my Rolo. Everything's black and white.
Even if you don't have a black and white logo, having a black and white variation of your logo is important, no matter what business you're in, because you need that to be able to put it on merch. You need that to be able to put it on business cards. You need that to be able to put it on shirts, hats, keychains, whatever, things for your company. So it's important, laser or not.
Keep that in mind, because every color costs another layer if you want that.
I know, with our, like, I didn't realize even our podcast logo, there's 4 colors in it. I didn't realize that until it came time to screen print it. I'm like
black and white and red. Is there gray?
Yes. Yeah. And like we could delete one out for like the color of the shirt. So like obviously with his gray shirt, the gray is just skipped. So there's still 3 colors. So I was like, oh dang. And I'm like, I thought I was, which isn't too bad, but
well, I mean, and DTF, you can just send it and get a whole thing of like DTF, and it's you don't have to think screen printing anymore. Even though we do,
true.
That's how we have evolved.
Right. Yeah.
But I just did those things when I set up. I imagined that I was a big business. I put myself out there like as a big business. And then people think that if people think you're a big business, you start to feel like you're a big business.
Well, it dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Yep.
So it's like that.
But with our anxiety, like Emily at the laser conference, she's like, "Barbie, are you going 6 figures this year?" And I love her. And it wasn't just her. It was someone calling me out to go 6 figures. People with our anxiety, we do enough damage to ourselves without putting, you could have said 4 figures and I would have probably imploded.
Yeah.
I came back with such pressure on me that I literally did nothing for like 3 months. I was doing orders, but I was trying so hard to come up with like the next 6-figure item that I was going to sell.
You're kind of forcing
it. I am not ready to do 6 figures because my space, how I'm organized, I am totally okay with, I don't know how many figures, but
just
my
some
bills
figures
and having extra money.
Exactly.
Just like you guys, I have these 2 kids at home. And when I'm done at 3:00, I have 6th grade math that I have to figure out. And by the way, photo math app for all you parents out there. That's how I help with math. I take a picture and it tells me how to do it because I have no idea how to do fractions.
Right. Oh,
my great education I was offered, I squandered because I was too good for that back in the day, and now I'm paying for it. But I'm just saying, your business is only successful in your own mind, and how far your family, how it impacts your family. Right. You guys have those 2 babies. That's your life right now. That's your number 1 priority.
Yep.
Being a wife, being a husband, and somehow doing laundry and making food every day. Dear God. Who invented that?
What is that meme? I was unprepared for coming up with dinner every single day for the rest of my life.
Now, I have to put it out there. My husband cooks. Okay? My husband cooks.
Mine too.
Yes. And when he is gone, he travels every other week, it's like spin the wheel, where are we eating tonight?
Yeah, so he left on Tuesday to go help his mom, and I already knew that I was ordering McDonald's or Dunkin', DoorDash, and then I went into the day like, I'm gonna make dinner, and by make dinner I mean warm up chicken nuggets and whatever. And I didn't even do that. I was like, what fast food is near us? And I went to Wendy's because it was just like and I wasn't always like this. There was times where I actually did like make some things, and I'd make macaroni and cheese and stuff. But then it's like, I don't know, just with being so overwhelmed by everything lately, finding that one thing that like makes the day a little bit easier and not having to worry about it, it's just worth it in that moment. So
did I freeze up?
I think so. I was like,
I thought you
she's
were
been holding that smile.
I look happy, don't I?
You do. That's a good freeze.
I don't know how to fix it.
It's okay. Well, I mean, we're way over on time anyway. So
I hope we let you go, enough, guys.
Yeah, before we let you go, where can people find you?
thecraftroomstore.com.
Okay.
And Barbie Cherison on Facebook. Be my friend. I will inspire you. I love helping other lasers. I don't care if you're my next door neighbor and you buy a laser. I'm going to support you the same as if you're in some other country.
That's awesome.
You know, I truly believe that every person needs a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just that
you guys my
over the freeze.
I'm going to give
you
I'm going to give you my recipe for dinner for you guys. So you go buy frozen burritos. You pour enchilada sauce on top, and you put cheese on top, and that's your homemade enchilada.
I'm already sold. Send it. All right, Barbie.
All right, Barbie. Well, thanks. You hold on right there, and everybody else will be right back with our life update. And we're back.
Yeah,
that was. So that was long.
It was a long one. So,
but it was fun.
If you're still here, thank you.
It was a lot.
A lot of good information.
A lot of like just kind of pulling the veil back and showing that it's more than like there's a lot of nuances to business.
Yeah.
So it's just and we
give yourself a break.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of it.
Start. Yeah. So as far as life,
clearly you're sick.
Yeah,
we talked about it a little bit.
I mean, I'm not even like all I have is this cough. Like, and this cough just like randomly shows up. And before the podcast, I was talking to
today.
This morning, I woke up.
Oh my God. Up at like
5 or 6, and it was on and off from
then on.
So 5 to 6, it was like on and off. I was just kind of like tossing and turning, and then 6 is when the coughing attacks started. And I couldn't lay back down.
Right.
I couldn't. I got them. There's several of them like back to back to back. And then I finally would get it like calm enough. And then I would go to lay down, and then I'd have a really bad one again. Right. And I needed to be sitting up so that I could run to the bathroom.
Right.
And, because it just brings up, it's really just the saliva from your body, like freaking out, like what's going on. I know, but I'm not like throwing up or like peeing myself or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, so it just I had to be like sitting up, and normally I'm sleeping in after you go take the kids, and
you still kind of were just on the couch.
Yeah,
sitting up,
in and out of it.
Yeah,
because as soon as I would feel like I was falling asleep, I would have to cough again, and then I was like, now I'm awake-ish. Like my eyes weren't open, but I wasn't like sleeping either. You know what I mean? It wasn't restful sleep.
Yeah.
And then this is following, so Monday.
Yeah, if you're following us on social media.
If you're my personal friend on Facebook, don't be offended if you're not, because I don't accept a lot of laser people. But Monday, we start getting all these pings on our phone from the
app, yeah.
And it's Jackson bit someone, Jackson bit someone else, Jackson bit another, and
4 people. Well,
yeah. By the time I showed up, there was, I don't know if it was
the same, or
I don't think it was the same, but I don't know if it was like 4 kids or if one kid got it twice or what. But yeah, so by the time I picked him up, he had bit 4 kids. I had to sign.
He went on a rampage.
4 different incidents.
And he got suspended from daycare. He got suspended from daycare. Well, I mean, I know how you bite
4 people in one day. That's how you do it. And normally, I mean, their policy is like 2 in one day, and you have to come pick them up. But they had they had happened so close together, that they like didn't get to call us by the time it was too late for them to be like, come get him, because then it was time to pick him up anyway. He calls me after I get him, go to pick him up, and he was like, "Was that a third one that I just saw?"
Yeah, I'm picking up JR.
It was 4.
I'm picking up JR, and the pings. I'm like, wait a minute, was this one that I just didn't see, and it's like reminding me, or is this a third one?
No.
And you're like, oh, actually, it was 4.
It was 4.
Yeah. So he got suspended for a day.
He was suspended for a day, and of course, this was the day that you
had to go down.
You're going down south, so I was on my own. And so we did that yesterday, and then thankfully he went to school today. Today's picture day. And we
no pings about biting yet.
I'm so anxious now. Now I'm like, oh God, what if he gets kicked out? What if he doesn't stop?
He's made it past the podcast, so we
at least we made it through that. If we have to go get him now,
somebody now,
at least we're good. That but yeah, so it's rough over here. But yeah, before I was talking to Heather about it, and I guess she's kind of experiencing the same thing, and so are
the cough.
Not the biting. Yeah, she's not going on a biting rampage.
I mean,
she might though.
Give it time.
If anybody would, it'd be Heather. Just said a couple people at the warehouse are also feeling it too, and I know that there's like some wildfires going on. There's just a lot and allergies and life, but it sucks.
Yeah.
I got shit to do, and I'm struggling through all of it. So
yeah.
That's all.
So that's all we got.
That's the life update.
Been another great episode of the Riley Black Project with Crystal and John. Bye.
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 Maybe we're all done.